Thanks for tuning in to No Wine in No Time. I'm your host Dave and I'm so glad to have you back. We're about to kick off our fall 2023 season and we're going to do that with a green skin white wine grape by the name of Pedro Ximenez. Now every great wine grape comes with a great story, and the lineage of Pedro Ximenez and its appearance in the south of Spain is interesting and up to interpretation of legend and lore. They think that it was native to either the Canary Islands or Madeira, but in the Middle Ages there was a significant amount of plantings in Germany. Now how did he get back to the south of Spain? There was two individuals for which this wine gets its name from that may be connected to that. And one was a Spanish soldier, his name was Pedro Ximenez, and the other was a Spanish cardinal by the name of Cardinal Ximenez. So we may never know the exact answer, but now it exists in the south of Spain, and it's used tremendously in sweet sherry. So we'll often see Pedro Ximenez listed as the main grape in sweet sherry. But what I want to talk about today is Pedro Ximenez as a dry white wine. This is a bit more unusual. So let's go back and look at that grape again. So Pedro Ximenez is a mid-budding, mid-ripening type of grape. In other words, it doesn't bud early, it doesn't bud late. It's perfect on the budding. We're past any type of frost, and it's ripening midway, so we don't need to go late into the fall for that to reach full maturity. It's a vigorous vine, and when it produces grapes, they're often irregular shaped berries, so it looks quite odd on the vine itself. Now it does have a few vineyard challenges. It's subject to botrytis. Botrytis is a fungus that desiccates grapes. It also has an issue with downy mildew, and the vines themselves can be subject to termite infestations. So once again, I had mentioned to you before that when we see it in Spain, where it's certainly native to, or it has its longest history to, they're going to produce it in a sherry style, a fortified wine that's often very sweet, and it has that sherry slant. If we want to look for a dry Pedro Ximenez wine, we often look to South America. And this South American wine comes to us from Chile. And the one that I chose for you today is from Mayu. That's the vintner's name. And this comes to us from Valle del Aqui, which is one of the valleys in the foothills of the Andes. Now this one is extremely high in elevation, over 6,000 feet, one of the highest vineyards in all of Chile. So if you track down a dry Pedro Ximenez, not the sherry version, what can you expect out of your glass and out of the bottle? Well, let's go ahead and take a look. The first thing that we'll notice is a dry Pedro Ximenez is really almost clear. It just has a slight yellow in the glass, just approaching straw. If we swirl to liberate the aromas, the first thing that leaps out of the glass is a very, very floral type of wine. It almost smells like walking into your local florist, or unfortunately a funeral home. It gives you that essence. I also get out of here some, let's say, fresh peach or apricot type of aromas and a little bit of stony minerality. Let's go ahead and give it a taste and see how it presents across the palate. When we taste Mayu's Pedro Ximenez dry version from Chile, the first thing that we get across the palate is a very citrusy presentation. Now don't think harsh citrus like grapefruit, think softer citruses like tangerine or a sweet Meyer lemon or a lime. Very dry in its presentation, but also not harsh with extreme acidity. We also get a little bit of almost kind of a ginger or jasmine across the mid palate, and across the back we do get a lingering finish where now that kind of apricot almost bordering on pear comes in. So you might be wondering, what is the application for a dry Pedro Ximenez wine? Well, I like it especially with fresh seafood, either done, say, seared in a pan or from the grill, or it would be absolutely perfect with ceviche. So I'm going to get back and enjoy a little bit more of this dry Pedro Ximenez, and I ask that you tune in next time, because soon you'll know wine in no time.